Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And as y'all can see, your boy sitting in his car. I'm out here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm out here at my brother-in-law's house. We came down for Thanksgiving. And I realized that I didn't give you all the show for the last couple of days. So thought that I'd just go ahead and talk to you all about the New Orleans Saints and answer some of your questions. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Hope everybody has been surrounded themselves around love and laughter and understand, some people couldn't travel due to restrictions. So, hopefully everybody, had a good Thanksgiving. On this edition, we're going to be talking a little bit about I'm going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints game against the Denver Broncos because there was some breaking news that came out, I say, about an hour ago. The Denver Broncos facilities has been closed because there have been multiple tests, a positive test of COVID-19. Some players that tested positive is defensive player Jarrell Casey, Kareem Jackson, Von Miller. Also, if I'm not mistaken, Glasgow, the tackle, and even John Elway, the executive president of the team, had tested positive for COVID-19. And this is huge news right here, man, because if you notice some of the names that I mentioned, these guys are very, very important to the Denver Broncos team and their success. But the Saints will be taking on the Denver Broncos. That hasn't changed as of right now. The game is still going to be played, even though the facilities has been closed. But the New Orleans Saints, they have a tall task, man. Now, I know many people probably seen the Denver Broncos record, and they probably said to themselves, well, this is going to be an easy game, man. This is going to be simple. The Saints are going to go up there to the Mile High City in Denver, and go ahead and beat the Denver Broncos and then focus on the next game against the Atlanta Falcons. But it's not that simple, Who That Nation. Even though the Denver Broncos record may indicate that they're not a good football team, that is so far from the truth. This team is a really good football team. They are really good at playing defense. This is a team that is coached by Vic Fangio. You know, this is a team that has a coach that is a defensive minded coach, and he can do all different types of different things defensively to confuse a quarterback. Now, if Drew Brees was playing, this probably wouldn't be news. This probably wouldn't be news at all because we've seen Drew Brees dissect some of the best defenses in the league. Teams come in, they're ranked in the top five, and Drew Brees comes in and treat these guys like they're elementary school kids or something. But with Vic Fangio, I mean, he's not taking on Drew Brees. He's going to be facing Taysom Hill in the New Orleans Saints. And even though Taysom Hill had a good outing last week, he did some good things. He showed flashes. He showed promise. It's a whole different week, man. And you're going up against a defense that has the capability of taking something from you that you do best. Taysom Hill is a runner. He's a guy that can scramble outside of the pocket, and he can also, get those extra yards if everything breaks down. Trust and believe that the Denver Broncos, Vic Fangio's defense is going to be focused in on trying to stop and neutralize Taysom Hill and trying to stop the run of the New Orleans Saints and force Taysom Hill to throw the ball down the field in order to beat them. That is what you that's what they're going to try to do. Okay. Another thing I gotta address, we gotta be real with it. We gotta be real. The Denver Broncos have had the New Orleans Saints number, folks. They have had the number of the New Orleans Saints. They have dominated this series. I think, if I'm not mistaken, out of 11 meetings, the Denver Broncos have beaten the Saints 9 times. Okay. They're 2-9 all time against the Denver Broncos. Haven't beat the Denver Broncos since the 90s. We remember like some of the games against the Broncos. I can remember a Sunday night football game that made me go to sleep early when the Saints took on the Denver Broncos. We know about the Denver Broncos coming to New Orleans and beating them after they returned a missed field goal or a blocked field goal. We know about some of the things that have taken place when the Saints have taken on the Denver Broncos. So this is a team that you shouldn't take very, very lightly. And I think the Saints are going to really be focused in on the Denver Broncos. And if they start looking at their press clippings, if they start looking at the attention they've been seeking, if they've been start looking at the power rankings, having them in the top three, then they're going to lose this football game. They are going to lose this football game, and this is really going to be one of those trap games because, like I said, this is one of those games you cannot look at the record of the opponent. Okay, this team is much better than the record is showing. But I want to say thank you everybody in the chat. We're going to go ahead and read some of your questions or your comments here. We're going to start. First off, I think it was Tyra. Tyra says, I think she said she had a birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to Tyra, man. Happy birthday to you. Thank you so much, Tyra, for being a part of Who That Nation and a mainstay here in the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much. Ray Ray says, yo, your boy Jay says, who that, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Tyra, once again, happy birthday to you. RJ Mason says, what up, TJ? Who That Nation, Saints Nation, giving a shout out to them. Chanel says, hey, TJ, hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Keen Arthur says, TJ, the host of the State of the Saints, Po Boys. Yeah, man. I'm the host of the State of the Saints podcast, reporting live inside of the car. You know what I'm saying? Outside here in Jacksonville, man. Let's see. Who that? Hope we got a good week of practice in. Well, yeah, we did. I think we got a good week of practice in. Sean Payton indicated that. You had a couple guys came back. Marshawn Lattimore, he came back to practice. You also had some guys that didn't practice. Michael Thomas still dealing with an ankle injury, and Alvin Kamara didn't practice either. So I don't think this is a big deal. I think it's more like you're preserving these guys. I mean, you know what you have in these guys, and you know these guys are going to be ready for the game. So having them out is not a bad thing. I think Andrews Pete, he's out. He's dealing with a concussion. Dwayne Washington, he came back to practice. I mean, you had some guys that are probably not going to play. I don't think Andrews Pete is going to play in this game. Most likely going to be a Nick Easton game, and we're just going to go from there, man. Let me stroll down a little bit. Man, the last time we played Denver was when we ain't have Sean coaching in 2012. That's not true. They beat us a couple years ago. I think it was like 2016. I think it was Michael Thomas' rookie year when he fumbled 3 times, which Ray just indicated. Yeah, he fumbled 3 times in that game. How was your Thanksgiving, Jerry? Jerry, how was your Thanksgiving, man? I'd like to know myself. Mr. Fred says didn't have Sean Payton as the coach. Let's be real. No, that's not true. That's not true. Sean Payton was the coach. I remember that time on Sunday Night Football. I mean, Denver beat the brakes off the Saints. I mean, and Sean Payton wasn't there. I think, yeah, that was the year Sean Payton was suspended. But besides that, I mean, that game where Michael Thomas fumbled the ball 3 times, he was there for that game. Let's see. Drew Lock trash. I don't agree with that. I think he does some good things. And he's a young quarterback. He's only going to get better. And he's a good, solid guy. You got something you can build on. Dada says, Saint says, who that fam? Byron says, who that? Kim says, they know not to take anything lightly after how our last 3 seasons went. Yeah, that's the truth, Kim, and I agree with that. I think that they shouldn't take the any team lightly. The fact that how those seasons ended for the New Orleans Saints. I mean, they should be dialed in. Saints still not really getting talked about in the media. Go figure. Well, at this point, I don't even care. I don't even care as a fan. I don't care if they don't talk about the Saints anymore. You don't have to talk about the Saints. As long as they keep winning, as long as they continuously be successful, I have no problem with that. Saints D is on fire. They didn't overlook the Falcons. I don't think Peyton will let them overlook anyone. I agree with that, but it's not about the coach either. It's about the team. It's about what the team wants. It's about what the team is putting forward. It's about what the team goes out there and executes. So I see a different team. I see a team that understands the task at hand. I see a team that understands the severity of the situation, getting that number 1 seed, getting that first round bye, winning the division, having opportunity to actually, be 2 games ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this is one of those games where the Saints can't sit back, man. They can't sit back and relax. And also, I think people need to understand this too. The more the Saints win, the more success they can get. the longer it can take for Drew Brees to heal his body. I don't want to see it. The Saints end up falling, losing a couple of games, and next thing you know, they're in panic mode, trying to stay ahead of Tampa, and they trying to rush Drew Brees back. The more games you win, the more successful your defense plays, the more you're being complimentary. Playing complimentary football. The longer it will take for Drew Brees, for him to come back, and we want Drew Brees to be as healthy as he possibly can to get ready for that playoff run. Drew and Taysom spent time together on Thanksgiving. Uh, yeah, I seen that. I seen that, man. Denver is tough place to play. Yeah, absolutely. You think about them being above sea level. You think about the different type of shape you have to be in order to go out there and play against the Broncos. I mean, the air, the air density is different. The air is so thin. Guys have to stay hydrated, man. You gotta be disciplined to go out there and play against Denver, man. No doubt about that. Let's see. Yeah, that block field goal versus Denver was just awful. I could have sworn old boy foot stepped out of bounds though. Yeah, they said he had the same color shoes on as as the sideline. But I'm like, give me a break. Buck Skull game in the house says TJ best team in NFC Saints going to Super Bowl this year. Well, I hope so. I hope they do, but I'm taking it one game at a time. I've learned as a Saints fan over the years, Buck Skull game, I never get too high and I never get too low when I'm talking or watching the Saints. I just take it 1 week at a time. Michael Thomas rookie year, that defense made Thomas fumble 3 times. Can't take anyone lightly. Yep. And that was without Vic Fangio. I think John Fox was the coach. Was it Kubiak? I can't remember. We can't overlook Denver. That's the easiest route to an upset. Yeah, I agree. Should the secondary continue to play more cover two, it seems to be more effective. Well, in this game, I definitely would play cover two. I mean, you're gonna have to change and adjust accordingly to the quarterback and the schemes. You know what I'm saying? That and the guy that you face from week to week. But this game, I wouldn't. I would play cover two. I already read that. TJ, uh, why haven't we been running two safety high? Well, we were seeing Marcus struggle and cover three, cover one, and cover zero. Probably because every single year, guys, if let me put it like this: if you have the same coach over the last couple of years, the first year that coach probably install certain things, and if he sees that you're being successful with that, he'll be like, okay, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you kind of mastered that. Let's transition to this. It's almost like they're trying to boost your portfolio defensively. And sometimes when you start to add different things, different nuances to defenses or offenses, it takes a guy out of his comfort zone. It takes a guy out of his element. And you see situations where guys get beat. You see situations where guys are not comfortable and they make bad decisions, So I have to give credit to Dennis Allen in this regard, for him to simplify the defense and say, okay, this is what you do well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you in this position right here and just go out here and do your thing. And when you do that, you give a guy an opportunity to play free. So I just think at the beginning of the season, I think it was Dennis Allen trying to graduate, so to speak, Marcus Williams to a different type of coverage that he wasn't known to playing, and he wasn't successful with it. So you live and you learn, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just glad that they're playing at a high level now. Now he's playing great, man. I mean, Marcus Williams, you can't really talk about him over these probably the last month, man, because you probably have to say he's one of the best players out there on the field. He did. He was asked about it, said, all I'm saying is I'm glad I wore white shoes. Yeah, man. I mean, it happens sometime, I guess, especially when they play the Saints. Tyra says it was Kubiak, TJ. Thank you, Tyra. Yeah, Gary Kubiak was the coach. I know John Fox was there. They went to the Super Bowl. Then the next year, Gary Kubiak was hired, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl the following year. I hate to say it, but I'm old. what do you say? I'm overlooking Denver. I I'm not. You know, I know that Denver is a good football team. Denver is a uh, Denver is a team that they play disciplined football. Like they're always there in the end. Like if they lose, it's not because they didn't give heart or they didn't give effort or they didn't give everything that they had in order for them to win. It just a team probably scores a touchdown late or they might turn the ball over or something like that at a crucial time of the game. But it's never about heart for this Denver Broncos team. And anybody that thinks that this is going to be a simple game, I encourage you to stop looking at records, please. Man, I remember us going like 15 straight against AFC teams. Mm, yeah, I mean, but I don't know, man. We just got to take it one game at a time, one play at a time. Ren says our defense has to stay consistent and has to run the ball against the Broncos, and has to control the clock. Yeah, time of possession is key in this game. We can't make too many mistakes. I think that the New Orleans Saints, they got to run the football. Use Taysom in different ways. But also allow him to throw the ball down the field. I think this is my honest opinion right here. I think that they're going to try to blitz Taysom. They're going to try to blitz him quite a bit, and they're going to try to hurry up and try to get the ball out of his hands. To try to see if he can make different decisions. But they're also, if he tries to run, trust and believe they're gonna have a spy linebacker to spy on him in case he tries to scramble outside of the pocket. But I'm thinking they're gonna try to blitz him quite a bit in this game, just to see where he is as a quarterback, to see if he can make that quick decision. But it's up to the Saints offensive staff in order to have Taysom Hill ready, because it's one thing, like now, you got that first game out your system. You was nervous. I heard that, he mistakenly called the play backwards. Like he put the guys in the wrong formation and all that. And all of a sudden, things start to slow down for him. And eventually, he started to play a little bit better. But now that game is over, man. I mean, that you're going to start in this game against the Broncos. You know that this is not your first rodeo now. You know that how teams are going to try to present certain things to you. So go out there and try to put your best foot forward. Jay Thrill says, just want to show the sunroof, huh? Nah, man. Nah, nothing like that, man. Like I said, I'm sitting in my car. I'm at my brother-in-law's house, man. They got people in the house and stuff like that. Got kids in there. So, this is the only place I can actually do the show where I can actually, have some quiet. Y'all gonna see a whole bunch of people running around. So Manny Man says, man, TJ, this year I've been kind of laid back when it comes to our team. I'm starting to see the bigger picture without Breeze. My question to you is, do you think Breeze should be put back in after he's healthy if we're still winning? Yes, I do. Uh, this team has done an absolutely marvelous job at trying to build this team for life after Drew Brees. And I think that we're seeing this, right before our eyes, and we should be happy, folks. You should be happy as a Saints fan that this team is structured to be able to win football games without the all-time leading passer in the first ballot Hall of Famer, that is Drew Brees. You should be happy for in that regard. But look, Taysom won last week. We seen Teddy Bridgewater last season go 5-0 as a starter, but make no mistake about it, Drew Brees makes this team better. Okay, he makes this team better. He makes this team, he puts his team in the best position to win, and that's the most important thing of all. You know what I'm saying? That is the most important thing, that we end up winning it all. And Drew Brees is that guy, and I don't trust any of the quarterbacks on this team, rather it's Jameis Winston, rather it's Taysom Hill, more than I trust Drew Brees. And if you feel that way, then I would have to say to you, I feel bad for you, man. I really do. I feel bad for you if you really think that this team is going to go anywhere in the playoffs, that, without Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? Like I really do, because this team is really good, but Drew Brees makes this team great. Okay. I mean, you can win with you can win without Drew Brees for a short amount of time. But you ain't like when it comes down to it, when teams start to buckle down and teams start to be disciplined, you know, especially in the playoffs when everybody just kind of focus in. I trust Drew Brees in that situation. I trust Drew Brees. Okay. Ray says so far has this team hold on. So far, how has this team ranked versus '09 and 18? Well, I still feel like the 2000 I still feel like the 2018 Saints were the best Saints team ever. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that was the Super Bowl team. I feel like they were better than the '09 team. The only difference is the '09 team won the Super Bowl. I feel like the 2018 team, they could have beat anybody. This team this year, I just feel like, they're a more battle tested team. It's almost like, you know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? Like all the heartbreak, all the disappointments, most of these guys have been through that, experienced it on, in some way or another. Rather it was the Minneapolis Miracle, rather it was the controversial non-caller last year, losing to the Vikings again. So these guys have experienced this. I mean, you think about C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's playing out his mind right now. I mean, what was the picture that everybody was showing after that wild card game was him sitting in the end zone with tears in his eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you think about the way that Demario Davis played, in the NFC Championship game, having that interception. You think about the way that he was playing in the second half versus the Minnesota Vikings in that wild card game. I mean, you think about these guys taking it on themselves to say, man, I don't want this to happen again. And you're starting to see that Who That Nation. So I do feel like the 2018 team is still one of my favorite teams. I feel like that was the team that would have got us to the Super Bowl. I definitely believe that we would have scored more points than the Rams. I can tell you that. I can tell you that right now. Ricky says, "Who that, TJ? How was your Thanksgiving?" My Thanksgiving was good, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. On Thanksgiving, I slept most of the afternoon. I slept because I worked that night. And as soon as I got home, we hit the highway heading toward Jacksonville. My wife, she was nice enough to drive, let me get a couple hours of sleep, and then once we decided to stop for some gas, I took it the rest of the way. But man, I was just so burnt out, man. I slept from probably like I don't know, like 6 in the afternoon to about 7:30 this morning. So really was burnt out, man. Really was tired. But all in all, what I'm saying, I enjoyed, just spending time with my wife and my son on the highway, talking, laughing, seeing her, her brothers and sisters and stuff like that. How her face lights up. My wife is kind of like, my wife kind of reserved, man. Like she's real quiet, shy, don't really say much anything. But when the times where she does get excited, when she does, smile and be happy, it makes me feel good. So, that was the most important thing to me, no doubt about that. Let's see, that guy. Thank you very much for $2. Says I'm Drew Brees. Well, if you are Drew Brees, we appreciate you as the Who That Nation. And if you are Drew Brees, thank you very much for the $2. I appreciate that, man. Let's see. We did pick up one. I guess that's a conversation Buck Skull game is having with somebody. Derek says, "You're right, TJ. I know I was one ready to get rid of Marcus Williams. Dennis Allen has turned our defense around." Yeah, man. Look, I was one of those people that wanted Dennis Allen out. I was thinking about, man, maybe we need to go in a different direction. I was kind of over it myself. I mean, look, everybody can't be right all the time. If some people are going to be right, some people are going to be wrong in certain situations, certain instances. But I just feel like what makes you sound like a fool is when you're wrong, when you're proven to be wrong, and you're still trying to double down. I just feel like that just makes you look like a egotistical prick. Excuse my French, but it just makes me look like one. Like you look like an egotistical, prick. I call it again. Or it just looks like you're just fishing for ratings and shock value. You know what I'm saying? That's what it looks like for me. You know what I'm saying? But, I don't mind telling people, that I'm wrong. I don't mind if I make a mistake, I'm wrong. Because, if I say something that was right and it comes to fruition, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be like, look, I said this, So I just feel like that gives you leeway, But when people are wrong, when they say that they're wrong, I mean, they know that they're wrong. And then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, they double down on it, and then or they try to move the goalposts. Like that just makes them look bad. It does. It just makes them look bad. Nola, TJ in that foreign. Nah, man, not at all. Not at all. TJ, I noticed that Taysom has the power to throw downfield, but the problem is his timing on when he lets the ball go. He needs to release the ball earlier and right as the wide receiver breaks in his routes. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That extra tick Keen Arthur is definitely a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like that extra tick sometimes can get that ball picked too. That's something we need to understand. I just feel like when he see it's almost like if you're like in a bakery or you're like at a restaurant and you're looking down the menu, or at the bakery you're looking at the glass, and all of a sudden like you're looking and all of a sudden you just see that great delicacy and you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of how he is when it comes to throwing a football. Like he reads between his progressions, and then all of a sudden he'll see a guy downfield like, oh snap, and then throws the ball. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's going to change over time. You know, if he becomes a better quarterback, I think that's going to change. But look, Keenan, you got to take the good with the bad sometimes. You know, you got to understand that it was his first start, and he's going to get better as time goes on. Let's go down a little bit. Ethan, thank you very much for the 499. Says, what's your thoughts on the Saints and the Super Bowl? Well, Ethan, thank you very much for the 499. My thoughts on that is I think they have a real strong chance of winning the Super Bowl. I'm looking at my son. My wife just grabbed me over there playing with the bubbles with his cousins. But anyway, I think they have a really good chance. They have a really good chance at winning the Super Bowl or even going to the Super Bowl. I think this is going to be one of their shots, man. You know, this is one of those years where I feel like it can happen. It's not like you have to deal with certain things that you're normally not used to dealing with. You know, for example, like, well, you know what I'm saying? This is a very unconventional year. You don't have any crowd, any crowd noise to deal with. You don't have to worry about, snap counts and all that kind of stuff on the road. You know, and when you look at the team and the landscape of the NFC, there's no team that just looks dominant than the other. You know, like you can see chinks, like little holes in the boat of every single team. You know what I'm saying? Like you really can. So it's not like, there's just this leaps and bounds better team than the other. So I think that this could be their chance. But it's up to the Saints, man. We all know every single year we see the Saints and we're like, man, this is our year. This is our year. TJ Sunroof, thank you very much for $2. Says I'm getting all the shine on this live. Well, TJ Sunroof, thank you very much for the $2. It's a beautiful day outside here in Jacksonville, man. So why not? King Arthur, thank you very much for $5. He says, TJ, how do you think Taysom will perform now that teams have tape on him? Also, does the emergence of Trey make Davenport and Rankins expendable? Well, not so much Davenport, but Rankins it does. It definitely does for Rankins. I think that Davenport, you still got a couple more years with him based on how he played. I mean, he put himself in a ballpark to make some, pretty reasonable money to be re-signed again. It's almost like David Amyamata, who's now playing outside of his contract. But before he got signed, I mean, he was a middle of the pack defensive end, interior lineman, but now he's exceeding that contract. And I just feel like with Davenport, the way that he's playing, he's definitely putting himself in a ballpark where he can sit down at the table with you and y'all can come up with a deal that will require him not to leave New Orleans. And as far as Taysom Hill, look, it's just one game, King Arthur, and I'm pretty sure that the Saints didn't show everything that he has to offer. I think that this tape can be helpful in some ways, but I don't think teams start to see patterns from guys until maybe 4 or 5 weeks into the season. That's when guys start to really have enough tape, and teams are starting to understand their tendencies, the way they deliver the ball, what they be looking at, what happens if the pocket breaks down, how do they react to certain pressures. So there's still some time with that, but I think there's something on the tape that they can actually, take advantage of. But I don't think it's going to take. They're not. He didn't show everything that he has. I'm pretty sure. Jared Poor says Ingram should have stayed with us, and then he wouldn't be dealing with COVID-19 in Baltimore. Well, that's unfortunate what's going on in Baltimore. I heard that Lamar Jackson tested positive for COVID. But, look, the way that Baltimore is using Mark Ingram anyway, most likely Mark Ingram ain't coming back. I think he's supposed to get like $5 million next year. I think they got J.K. Dobbins. I think they got him now, and I think they want to go forward with him in a younger backfield. But in my opinion, if Mark Ingram is still out there, bring him back. It wasn't like it's not like you got rid of Mark Ingram because his production dropped, or it was like he wasn't good enough to continue to play. It was a contract situation. It was contract negotiations. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was about. It wasn't about Mark Ingram couldn't play, and Mark Ingram still can play out there in Baltimore. Baltimore just wants to go younger. So if it was me, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, you know what I'm saying, but if it was me, I would bring Mark Ingram back. I would bring him back. I don't know how much. I know that Latavius Murray has one more year on his contract, but you know, if it was up to me, I would bring back Mark Ingram. You know what I'm saying? I definitely would bring back Mark Ingram because one, I'm pretty sure you're not going to sign him the $5 million, and number two, I mean, he knows the offense. I definitely would bring him back, and uh, I think that Baltimore would be more successful offensively running the football if they would use Mark Ingram more. But they want to use all these other running backs, which I don't understand. But man, bring them back. I think that Mark Ingram is not only a game changer, but he's a guy in the locker room that everybody respects. This is why I love being here. We talk Saints football. Hey man, that's look. We talk Saints football. We talk about anything people want to talk about. I see people talking about different life situations. We talk about everything here, but I love talking about Saints football. Especially with each and every one of you. Thank you so much for spending your Black Friday with the State of the Saints podcast. Kim says Baltimore needs to uh, do a better job. Yeah, I think that you got enough tape now on Lamar Jackson and teams know what he's trying to do. And he's going through it, man. This is his sophomore slump right here. I mean, this is his third season, but he didn't play that much his rookie year. So, this is his sophomore slump. Ken Arthur says, TJ, I think Taysom will do well. Man, we need to pay Trey his Skrilla. Yeah, we definitely do. Uh, this is like one of those Shaq Barrett type of situations, right? Shaq Barrett left Denver, went to Tampa, and all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, he became like a monster, and it was time for him to get paid. And now, like look at him this year. He's not doing that much. He's not doing that much at all. Laughing at my son. My son trying to run out in the street, yo. My wife got him though. Let's see. Let's go. Jerry Jeudy is dealing with a knee injury and didn't practice, and some Broncos have COVID-19. We should win, but we still have to lock him. Lock him and complete. Denver plays everybody tough. It won't be easy. That's just the truth. Jerry Jeudy is a good wide receiver. He's young. He has a lot of football ahead of him, but he's really good. And he is going to be that number one receiver. You got to think about some of these other players, Noah Fant, the tight end. Man, they have so much talent on his team. Fitzpatrick, you know what I'm saying, a wide receiver. I mean, they got so many guys, and we know that when the Saints are not used to like certain names, they struggle. They go up against a Julio. They'll dominate that or Calvin Ridley. They'll dominate that, but when they go up against a Tim Patrick, you know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying, or they go up against a Jerry Jeudy, or they go up against a Noah Fant, they have problems. So I think that they just need to be focused. You need to be focused. TJ, Bucks in trouble now if we lose Sunday, miss playoffs. Well, I don't think that the Bucks are going to miss the playoffs, and this might shock a lot of people. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks win against the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, Kansas City Chiefs are just living off nostalgia right now. People just look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, this, that, and the third. But the Kansas City Chiefs aren't as good and as dominant as they were last year. I know they only lost one game, but there are some holes in their team, man, especially defensively. Their secondary is not that good. They're not really getting that much pressure. for the exception of Chris Jones, who was getting double teamed. The linebackers, you can kind of expose them, and Patrick Mahomes is keeping these guys in the game, being who he is. So it's not like Kansas City can't go out there and you know what I'm saying, and beat, well, Kansas City can't go out there and lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we all know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers struggle with teams that don't have pass rush. I mean, they have a pass rush. That's where they struggle. They struggle when teams have a pass rush. Kansas City doesn't really have a pass rush, so that gives Tom Brady time to read between his progressions and throw the ball down the field. So don't think that this is just man, this Kansas City, Like, let's not fall into that, okay? Let's not fall into the trap of names and games, okay? Because any team can beat any other team. It's about schemes. You know what I'm saying? It's about how your how your scheme is. Like, this plays into the hand of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you look against the Rams have a pass rush. You look against the Saints have a pass rush. When teams have a pass rush, Tampa struggles. When Tampa can hold a defensive line, that's when they win games. TJ, are there any rookies that have stood out to you this season? Oh, Marshawn is fully healthy, and I still think we need to sign an insurance policy corner. Any rookies that stood out to me this season? Any rookies that stood out? I'm trying to think. Man, Justin Jefferson, no doubt. Justin Jefferson, man, probably to me has stood out, among rookies. You know what I'm saying? That guy's incredible, which I think we already pretty much knew that, that he was something special. Jonathan Taylor out there in Indianapolis has stood out to me as well. That's not a surprise to me at all. I mean, he was a good running back in college, and, I think that he's going to transition to the pros really well. J.K. Dobbins is another guy, that stood out to me as a running back. He's starting to, gain traction. I'm trying to look at on the defensive side of the ball. Chase Young, who we seen play yesterday, had a sack against Andy Dalton and the Cowboys. I think he stood out as well, man. But if I was saying, like, who would be rookie of the year, I would have to go with Justin Jefferson right now. Justin Jefferson stood out to me. If we beat the Chiefs, we win the Super Bowl. Well, I wouldn't put it like that, because you might end up seeing him again. You might end up seeing that team again, down the road. So if you are successful, Quan and DeMario are the two best linebackers in the league. They definitely give a run to your money to Devin White and and Levante David. They definitely giving a run to those guys, but. Man, shouts out to Quan Alexander. I mean, this guy came in. That was his second game playing. First game against the 49ers. Second game, played against the Falcons. And now this guy just playing like he been with the team all season, like he had training camp with him. But that's just a testament to how smart he is as a player. That's just a testament to how good he is as a football player as a whole. And it's also freeing up DeMario Davis to be as free as he possibly can, because now he has a linebacker that he can count on, that he doesn't have to worry about being an eraser for that linebacker. Like, no disrespect to Alex Anzalone. I think that he's a good linebacker. I think there's a place for him in the NFL, but he is definitely no Quan Alexander. Okay, Quan Alexander sees something, he dissects it real quick, and he's right there. Okay, and I mean, he has some unbelievable speed for a linebacker. I mean, the way that guy gets to point A to point B, the way that guy's around the football, he could easily have about 2 interceptions last week against the Falcons if he had better hands. So I'm definitely happy that the Saints made that trade. And if you think about it, they got him for absolutely nothing, because earlier this week, the 49ers released Kiko Alonso. So they got him for absolutely nothing. That's the most amazing thing about it. Amen to that. I believe we will resign him and let Anzalone walk. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, his contract rolls over. His contract rolls over. So I think he had maybe like 2 or 3 years on his contract. The Saints picked that up. So he's not a free agent after this year. You got him again. Quan Alexander is playing at a Pro Bowl level right now. Him and DeMario Davis is a scary combo to have. Yeah, I mean, look, with the 49ers, what happened to them was a really good thing. Okay, I mean, it's when you draft a player, you pick a player up, and that player develops into being really really good, and it made Quan Alexander expendable. He was able to go and go to another team. You know what I'm saying, and you feel like there's no drop off. I mean, the play of Warner and you know what I'm saying, and D Ford. You know what I'm saying, when he decides to come back. I mean, they're playing really, really well. And then you have Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa, who are going to be back next season. I think the 49ers pretty much see the writing on the wall. I mean, you have injuries in the middle of the year, and you have to just come to yourself and say, man, you know what? This is just not our year. This is not our year for us to do anything, or it's not going to end up the way that we anticipated. But, shouts out to them. I think that they develop guys really, really well. The defensive coordinator, who I feel like is going to be somebody head coach next year. Sela, you know what I'm saying? I think that he is going to be, missed in San Francisco, but, at the same time, he has done an absolutely marvelous job at developing these guys into almost borderline elite defensive players. Keen Arthur says, I like what the defense is doing now, but the true test is to see if they turn the corner is against Kansas City. They have to show they can shut down or limit an explosive offense like KC. Yeah, I agree with that. But look, what are we doing? We got to be careful, man, about, I don't know, man. I feel like, and I like the statement, King Arthur, but that is a tad bit of moving the goalpost a little bit, because we heard about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, right? We heard about all the weapons that they had, and the Saints forced them to 3 points. We heard about the Atlanta Falcons, putting up a whole bunch of points, and the Saints shut them down, held them to 9 points. Okay, so we can't it's like, okay, what I'm saying, you did this, but what about this? Okay, you did this, but what about this? We have to give them credit for being, what I'm saying, having proven defensively. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like, they went up against the Bears or something like that. The Bears having some offensive struggles. Okay, so if they had a great defensive performance against the Bears, then we can be like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? But this is the Bears. But when you go up against teams like Tampa and Atlanta, and you know what I'm saying, and they don't score touchdowns on you, that's a testament to your team turning the corner. And I think we have to give them credit for that. And we know that Kansas City is going to score some points, man. Just if Kansas City scores 2 or 3 touchdowns on the Saints, don't mean that the Saints defense isn't all that it's cracked up to be. I mean, it's not like you have Adam Gase on the other sidelines who's coaching Kansas City. I mean, this is Andy Reid, who is just as respected as a head coach as Sean Payton is, who is just as respected as an offensive play caller as Sean Payton is. So if they go out there and they perform well against the New Orleans Saints defense, that's not a knock on the Saints defense. That's more of a testament to how good Andy Reid is as a play caller and how he puts his team in positions to succeed, similar to Sean Payton. So I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that you have to give both guys credit. You have to look at the coaches, and you also have to look at the team itself. Okay, so I would be highly surprised if the Saints hold Kansas City to 9 points. I don't think that's going to happen at all. If they limit KC's downfield plays, then we can win. And I'll say a lot about Dennis Allen and his ability to adjust. Well, the Saints are a good second half team, but they have proven, one thing that I like about the Saints, and I just feel like this separates the Saints from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The New Orleans Saints are not afraid to rip something out of the playbook that don't work. The Saints are not going to try to force something to work. They don't try to put guys in positions that is not going to be beneficial to that guy. If a guy can't run down the field running a 9 route, for those that don't know what that is, that's just run straight down the field, you know what I'm saying? No cuts, no nothing as a receiver. If a guy is not fast enough to get behind the safety, then they're not going to put him in that position. They're not going to have this guy streaking down the field. Okay? If a guy is good on an out route, they're going to make him run most of the out routes. If he's good on a quick slant, they're going to have him mostly running quick slants. If he's good on a 10 and then he has good footwork, they're going to put him in that position. But you look at teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that what separates them from other teams is that they try to force guys who are not comfortable at running certain plays. They force them to actually run those plays until they work. Sometimes you have to humble yourself. Sometimes you have to say, you know what? Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm asking this guy to do way too much. Maybe I'm asking of him to do something that he just simply cannot do at this particular time. And they rip it out. And they say, you know what? Okay, look, this is what we're going to do. I noticed in this game versus, I don't know, the Baltimore Ravens, I seen, you know what I'm saying, when they threw the football to the tight end, I seen you just went out there in a point of attack. What was different about last week that we lost in the game against the Ravens, which we won? What was different? Well, you know what I'm saying? They take the player and the player explains to him. They be like, okay, well, we're going to try to implement more plays like that for you. You know what I'm saying? That's the role of a good team and a good coach. Okay. Now, if it's like you're out of position every single play, then it's time for you to move on. But if you feel like you got the right guys in the locker room, try to put them in the best position to succeed. That's all I'm saying. Cade Cunningham, thank you very much for the $4.99. Says, I heard the Broncos skipped practice due to players testing positive for COVID. Cade, that is absolutely true. The Denver Broncos closed their facility. The game is going to be on Sunday. They didn't cancel that, but they did close the facilities because they had a few players that tested positive, as well as some executives inside of the organization. So my score prediction for Sunday: Saints 45, Broncos 17. I don't know if it's going to be that out of hand. I don't know. We'll see. Rudy says, I still can't believe it's been over 3 seasons since we allowed a 100-yard rusher. Yeah, and that the Saints have done an outstanding job. Stopping the run, being disciplined, having guys that are athletic out there on the edge in order for them to control the boundary. So, yeah, shouts out to them. Are we the NFC champion favorites? I want to say yeah at this time. At this time, we are. I'm going to take a few more, man, and then we're going to get up out of here, folks. Got to get back to, family time. St. James says, depending on the weather, it may be more low scoring. Well, I think it's supposed to be in the 40s. I think somebody said that earlier in the week on here on the State of the Saints podcast. So my main concern is just the altitude. It's different. But I feel like it's going to be an advantage, for special teams. I mean, the Broncos beat the Dolphins, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the Dolphins were playing outstanding. They forced Tua Tagovailoa to go sit on the bench. So I mean, this team is not a slouch. I mean, we know how good Miami was playing for those last couple of games, forcing turnovers and stuff like that. Where do you rank the State's defense? I guess you mean the Saints defense. As far as right now, I have them like in the top 5. I have them a top 5 defense. Broncos not scoring 20. I think that's what Miles said. 34-31 Broncos. Your boy Jay says, we appreciate you, TJ, for taking time out for us. Look, man, I just wanted to, do a show, see what you all were thinking and stuff like that. We'll have a prediction show. I'll probably come back with you all on tomorrow, and we'll do a prediction show again. Do we have the best pass rush, the best rush defense? I don't think so. I don't think we do. I don't think we have. I think the Rams may have the best rush defense. Dada says this season seems a little different than last few years, but in a positive way. Well, let's just keep that type of momentum and energy going, and we should be okay. Facts: the Dolphins are still kind of rebuilding around Tua. Yep. 30-20 Saints. The second option said, yeah, no Rams. Yeah. I mean, you have Aaron Donald, Michael Brockers in them. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Like as a linebacker, I mean, why wouldn't you? But I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day. Thank you for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. And if this is your first time checking out the State of the Saints podcast, first off, hit the like button for your boy. Support the podcast that way. If you're already a part of the State of the Saints podcast, if you're new, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. Also, check out facebook.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. And previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. Thank you all so much. Enjoy your Friday. And like always, All I gotta say is